Hi everyone, my name is Firdaus and I'll be your Zoom trainer today. Thanks for joining us, on this afternoon to uncover yet another interesting topic for the week. How do we use Zoom for our online video conferencing needs? In the next few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be sharing with you a bit more about Zoom and how we can use Zoom, to talk to and communicate with people, and also to use Zoom to learn classes online. Okay. Now, before we get started, let's do a quick poll. Okay. Now, during this entire COVID period, either before circuit breaker or after circuit breaker, I'm sure you've had to use lots of technology. Now, question I want to ask everyone. Okay, let's do a quick poll. Which one of these communication tools have you not used? Okay. So option number one is WhatsApp video call. Number two, Zoom. Number three, your normal calls, either using your mobile phone or your landline. And number four, none of the above. Let me repeat the question again. Which one of these communication tools have you not used during this entire circuit breaker or post-circuit breaker period where we had to use a fair amount of technology to communicate with others? We'd love to hear your responses. So let's get those responses coming up. All right. You know what? A lot of people are saying that they've got to adapt to technology rapidly in this last few months. There's been a survey that came out. You know what? We've adopted technology rapidly. As much as 5 years worth of technology adoption has been done in just the last 3 months alone, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what? Most of us have been technologically more savvy than we were in 2019. So let me hear your responses. Which one of these have you not used in the last few months? WhatsApp video calls, Zoom, normal calls, and none of the above. I've got a good guess. I'm thinking normal calls, everyone will probably get, everyone's doing that. WhatsApp video calls would also be, quite normal, quite used to it, okay? And I am guessing that most of you would say Zoom, and I am right, okay? Zoom is probably one of the least used technology that a lot of us have used over the past few months. The thing is, every one of us have heard about Zoom, but some of us have dared to venture out and try. No worries, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you with Zoom, and hopefully after today, you'll be more comfortable in using Zoom as a video conferencing tool. Are you ready to get started? Because I am. Let's start with, what is Zoom? Why is it called Zoom? I've got no idea why it's called Zoom. The founders of Zoom called Zoom. But Zoom is essentially a video conferencing tool. A video conferencing tool means you're able to talk to people online. You'll be able to see them via video. So that's video conferencing. Extends beyond more than just video and audio, right? Video conferencing tool enables you to share content also as well. Video conferencing tools enable you to communicate via chat also as well, and all exists in one platform. And Zoom is one of the most video conferencing tools over the past few months. In fact, it has gained so much popularity that they've even came up with a name for it, right? Are you a Zoomer? So you know what? You know it's popular when people are giving it names. So Zoom is relatively easy to use, but it's not the only video conferencing tool. You've got video conferencing tools like Microsoft Teams or even Google. But today we're going to focus on Zoom because it's relatively user-friendly. And most of the times in our classes, online learning classes, we are going to be using Zoom. The screen, ladies and gentlemen, that you are seeing on your right is a typical screen that you see if you are engaged in a Zoom class or in a Zoom call. Pictures of everyone talking and speaking, and you know what? It's a great mosaic view of everyone who's involved in that particular call. Let's dive a bit more about Zoom, okay? Now, let me just give you an enlarged version of Zoom, okay? This is what it looks like, okay? So do you see this screen here? This is what you see if you're on Zoom with as many participants in that Zoom call as the particular example that I've given you in the screen. Okay, so I want you to actually see a visual of what Zoom looks like. So this is what Zoom in progress looks like. Now, how can you get started on Zoom? Now, let's go through the first steps. The first steps, ladies and gentlemen, are always difficult. Trust me, right? Even I had difficulty with my video conferencing needs in my first few rounds trying it out. But it's essential that we get the first few steps up and ready, because once we have them up and ready, it's essentially plug and play. let's get through the first few steps on Zoom. First things first, 3 things that I want to cover in the first component. Make sure you download a Zoom app on your desktop, laptop, or your MacBook, creating an account, and most importantly, testing your settings. Now, I've met lots of potential Zoomers who backed out at number 3 because once they see the interface, they say, ayo, so difficult. This is quite difficult to set up. But I'm here to tell you it is really easy, and I want to run through those steps with you, okay? Now, first off, it is not necessary for you to download the Zoom app on your desktop, laptop, and your MacBook. Zoom can exist on your web browser. But in order for you to scale up the full functionalities that Zoom has to offer, highly encourage you to download a free version. All downloads are free, ladies and gentlemen, and only go to the accredited sites to download your Zoom packages. Now, this is what the download screen looks like. So it doesn't matter whether you're on Apple or whether you're on Windows, Zoom has got its software packages for each operating system, okay? Now, where do you go to download the Zoom app? Now, here's the link for you, zoom.us/support/download. Now, if you can't remember that, I've got a quick tip for you. Just go on Google and type in Zoom desktop app. And the first result that you see would be the result that you want to click, okay? It's as intuitive as that. Now, it's the same as all software downloads, ladies and gentlemen. Click it, let it run its course, and once it runs its course, right, click the yes and necessary stuff so it can be downloaded into your system. This part, quite plug and play, so I wouldn't want to dwell onto this that much. Now, second part, once you've gotten an app on your desktop, laptop, or your MacBook, whichever device you are using, it's time for you to get an account. Now, I know most of you guys are going to be asking me, should I pay for an account? What's the difference between a free account and a paid account? Now, I'm going to be answering all your questions very soon. But for the time being, if you want to sign up for an account, a free account would suffice. What does a free account do? I'll tell you also very, very soon. In order for you to log in to a free account or sign up for a free account, 3 options, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, you can use your existing Google accounts, or you can even use your Facebook accounts. Or if you want to keep these 2 accounts separate, right, from your Zoom account, you can create your own Zoom account. And like in any account creation, ladies and gentlemen, username, email address, and password. And of course, keep your passwords very carefully because these passwords would have access to all your Zoom meetings. Okay, so step number 2, create an account. So that's simple. Now, once you have downloaded the app and once you have created the account and you've signed into your account, the first thing that you see, ladies and gentlemen, is this screen here. I would like to call it the home screen because that's what it's called. It's called a Zoom home screen, and this is what it will look like, okay? The main buttons on your home screen are new meeting, join, schedule, and share screen, okay? Now, we're going to be exploring most of these functionalities later, but next step is to test your settings to make sure that you get your settings right. And as I've told you, many of us would want to not go on with this step because they're afraid of the tech involved, but it's really quite easy. In order for you to get your settings done, click on new meeting. So basically on new meeting, what you'll be looking at is that you'll be looking at yourself and your actual settings. And from there, you'll be able to configure your video and audio, right? So click on new meeting and you see this. Now this blank screen, ladies and gentlemen, is, it's normal. So if you see this blank screen, don't be afraid. You're actually on the right step. What are some of the main elements here? First of all, the name that you registered with will be displayed there. So if you registered with your name, Firdaus Salim, that's your name, that's my name. If you registered with your own name, your name will be there. No video will appear. It'll be a blank screen. It'll be black because you haven't activated your video yet. The next thing I want you all to know is this. Look at the bottom part of the screen. You've got all the various functionalities, right? Mute, start video, security, participants, chat, share screen. Now, these are your control functions. Every function serves a particular purpose. And we'll be exploring some of the main functionalities later on in this webinar. What I need you to know is that sometimes these functionalities, they are different for different accounts. It really depends on whether you are a paid account or free account holder. When I took the screenshot, ladies and gentlemen, I was a paid account holder. And as a paid account holder, I get more functionality. So that's why you see the record function there. That's why you see closed captions and reactions. Now, if you're on a free account, you don't get to see all that, but it's fine because those are additional functions. Okay, so control button there, blank screen, your name, that's your starting screen. You know you're on the right step when you see this. Now, two things needs to happen in order for us to be able to work on Zoom. First off, we need to make sure that people can hear you. Okay, so click on that button, you can see there, to switch your audio on and off. It's as simple as that, on and off. It's like a click of a button. You click it once, you see the red slash, means it's off. You click it once, you don't see the red slash, means it's on. A quick tip for you also as well, ladies and gentlemen, is this. How do you know if your sound is working? Now, when I first got on board Zoom, this was really interesting to me. And I felt a bit foolish after I found out the reason why. I was asking myself, how come I cannot hear my own voice when I'm speaking? Is my sound working fine? Until I actually called up the Zoom hotline, and the person picking up the hotline went up to me, "Oh, sir, that's because you can't hear yourself speaking. You're already speaking." So if you can't hear yourself over your headphones or over your speakers, that is fine, okay? Because it is configured to be that way. When you are speaking, you're hearing your natural voice and you're not hearing your recorded voice. So that's not how you test for sound, okay? To test if your sound is working, the quickest test is this. Look at the screen. Now, on your desktop, laptop, or even MacBook version, on the sound portion, there's a mic. See, I've enlarged the mic. Look at that, right? And then you see like a green, like a water level of sorts. And if you speak louder, it'll go up. And you speak softer, it'll go down. It means that your mic is picking up your sound, okay? If you see the levels going up and down, you are on the right step. Means your mic is picking up a sound. So that's the quick test. So usually when I go on Zoom, in order for me to check if my sound is okay, I check, okay, levels going up and down means it's capturing. But that's not the foolproof way. The best way to go about doing it is to do this, okay? Now, when you go on your mic button, right at the main screen, you see that, right? There's a small arrow. And when you click that small arrow, ladies and gentlemen, it'll bring you to a whole host of menu, okay? Sound system, select microphone, select speakers. And this is where a lot of people get a bit afraid because, wow, so many settings. Now, Zoom has been set up to be easy to use. I'm not from Zoom, by the way, and I don't sell Zoom products. Maybe I should, right? I've been marketing them quite a bit. But it's set up so it's easy to use. I want you to know this, okay? Don't get afraid by all those stuff. What you need to do is identify, test, speaker, and microphone. Click there, okay? When you test speaker and microphone, ladies and gentlemen, these two sound checks appear, okay? Ringtone sound check and sound, your voice sound check. These two sound checks are important, okay? The first sound check is a ringtone sound check. It enables you to test if you're hearing things. So they'll play like a ringtone, a small tune, like about 4 or 5 seconds, okay? Tung, 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 something like that, right? And if you can hear it, click yes. What happens if you don't hear anything? Click no. Why? Because then what happens is Zoom and your desktop or your laptop or your MacBook, they talk to each other and they say, hey, maybe there's another source of sound. And you'll auto-detect the second settings automatically until you get to the system that works for you and you can hear something on your, on your phones, on your earphones, or even on your speaker systems. So that's a thing that a lot of people fail to understand, and that's why they give up early. If you don't hear anything, it's okay to say no. No doesn't mean the system shuts down. No means the system will auto-detect until they hear something. Now, once you hear something, the second most important thing is people need to be able to hear you. So what we need to do is we need to do a sound check. So they'll ask you to do a sound check, say something, it'll be recorded for 5 seconds, and they'll play back the sound. And if you can hear the sound, means your mic is working fine. Again, if you don't hear anything after you've recorded your 4 or 5 second sound check, say no. The system will auto-detect the settings that best fits you and the one that you are using. So I want to remind everyone, click no if you don't hear anything. About 95% of the time, the system will be able to detect your settings automatically. So I want you all to know that, okay? Now, Once we've got audio out of the way, the second most important thing is video. One of the most important tools that Zoom has for us is the ability to see ourselves. Now, some of you guys might have be a bit more savvier. Some of you guys are going to be asking me perhaps later in the Q&A, how do you switch on your virtual backgrounds? That's a bit of an advanced setting, not too hard to find out, but it's a bit of an advanced setting. I won't go there. For basic fundamentals of Zoom, I'm going to talk about switching on your video. And it's as simple as clicking that switch video on and off. So that's that, okay? Switch it, you see the red slash, it says off, click on it again, it's on, and you'll be able to see yourself. And that's my face there, okay? Your face appears. So that's the litmus test. If you know your video is working, your face needs to appear. Now, what happens if no video appears? And this has been a very common question whenever I do Zoom classes, either as a trainer, when I teach people how to use Zoom, or either when I'm conducting an online training class using Zoom. They'll say, Firdaus, I got no video. Now, typically, it's any of these three reasons. It might be any of these three reasons. It might be a fourth reason, but usually it falls under these three. The first one, do you have a video camera? Now, for most laptops, I am pretty sure for about 90% of the laptops out there that have been bought over the past 5 years, you would have an embedded video camera on your laptop. Now, the video quality is different for different laptops, okay? So you need to know that. But if you have a laptop, likely chances are you have a video camera embedded, right? If not, check your laptop settings, okay? So that's one. If you are on a desktop is done with a screen and a keyboard and a mouse. If you are on a desktop, well, chances are you need to be able to show your video by connecting to a webcam. And there are lots of different webcams out there. There are cheap ones as cheap as $50 as well. There are expensive ones as expensive as $200 or $300. It depends on the functionalities. Affordable, cheaper version would suffice if you're just doing a simple video conferencing call. And you need to buy that webcam to be attached to your desktop, okay? And you can follow instructions of webcam installation when you buy the hardware. So first of all, check whether you've really got video camera functionality. So that's the first thing I ask people to do. The second thing is this. Sometimes this happens. Now, if you don't have enough power, if you're not locked into a power source, sometimes your computer will say, hey, let me save the power for important, essential services. Video not so essential. So they have a tendency to switch off the video. It happens sometimes, so make sure that you are powered up, okay? The second thing is also this, internet bandwidth. Sometimes if you are in a place with poor internet bandwidth, video takes a lot of bandwidth consumption, okay? And sometimes because of low internet bandwidth consumption, people will say, your computer will say, can I switch off your video? Because if not, the video will be laggy. So these two things, this second thing, these two things might be a reason why your video is not coming up. So do check for these two things as well. The last one, well, it might be quite funny, but it happens the most. Where's my video? And it even happened to me because you know what? Before COVID came and before we had to kind of be agile with all this technology, we've been told to cover our screen for privacy and security concerns. Some of us have got that tiny post-its, on our screen. And now we've got to video conference. We even forgot that tiny post-it exists. Check for that, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that your screen is not covered. Okay? So if no video on, no worries. Do these 3 quick checks. Okay? Now, that's as simple as it can get. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you get on board Zoom. Okay? So again, let me just repeat. Account, download the app, log into your account, test your audio, test your video. These 2 things, and then you're fine. Okay? Now, what happens when you have to sit for an online class? What happens then? Now, I want to teach you how to use Zoom as a learner. So let's check this few minutes out. Okay, now, first off, increasingly, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, I think all classes, especially courses conducted by SSG and WSG, even by NSA as well, even the work skill qualification courses are conducted online for our own safety. There'll probably be a couple of months more till face-to-face learning happens. Online learning is cool. As a learner, I learn a lot online as well. I can be at the comfort of my own home and I don't have to travel and I listen to my trainer and speaker talk. So online learning might be something new that's, came up over this period. might be also a mainstay as people are realizing the benefits of online learning. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're not on board online learning because of video conferencing tools and the lack of awareness of how to utilize it, try it. Because why? It might be here to stay. This is an example of a training vendor who've made online learning possible. They always will tell you online learning, online classroom dates. And this type of advertisements or this types of course postings is going to be very common. Okay. Now, what do? Before we jump into the online learning Zoom functionalities, let's talk about accounts. And I know this has been one of the biggest concerns at the back of your minds. Do I need to pay for an account, Firdaus? The question is no. If you are going to be a learner and you are signing up for an online learning class, a free account would suffice. A free account, if you look at the screen, gives you 40 minutes of group meeting timings. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are the host, you can only talk to people and people can be in your room for only 40 minutes. And after that, the account gets cut off. Okay, and you got to start back a new meeting. Now, if you are hearing some of these terms, room, host, participants, or guest, and you're not sure what it means, I'll tell you more about them very, very soon. Okay, so you need to know that if you are the one hosting, you've only got 40 minutes worth of time as a free account holder. But of course, if you are paid account holder, and these are all in US dollars, these are paid monthly, right? $14.99 USD a month. If you are a host and you get a paid account, you can host the meetings for 24 hours without any time limitations. So these are the various functionalities. Pick one that suits your needs. And most of the time, the free accounts would suffice. Let me give you a bit of introduction about the main things that you need to know in an online learning class, especially when you're on Zoom. First of all, you got the room. The room is the classroom, ladies and gentlemen, right? It's called the room, right? And I want you to think of the room as a classroom, okay? This is where all the participants are going to be in. That's where your trainer is going to be in. The room is where all the action happens, okay? Then you've got the host. The host is the person who is hosting you. That's why they're called the host. The host is where is the trainer. The host is the organizer of the online learning class. The host is the one that provides and opens up the room, right? The host is the one that opens up and provides the room, right? The host account has to be paid, okay, in order for the room to be open for more than 40 minutes. Okay, so host is very important because if you got the free host account, that room can only be open for 40 minutes. If you have a paid host account, that room can be open for as long as 24 hours. Okay, now, if the host opens up the room, the host opens up the room to who? The host opens up the room to the guests, and that's what they're called. The guests are participants such as you and the rest of the other people who's logged into the classes as well. So the guests are other people apart from the host who's learning in that class. Now, if the guest has a free account, but the host has opened up a room with his paid account, you do not have to worry, right? Because there is no time limitation. The time limitation is always on the host. Now, let me show you how all these three things work in a typical Zoom class. So here I've got a picture of a recent class that I did. So these were all my participants, very nice participants. You can see my name there, right? That's my full name, Firdaus bin Salim. Okay, now you can see the word host. So that's me, I'm the host. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now you can see the guests. So all these are guests. And a class can accommodate to as many as 100, 200. A typical class would be about 20, 25. These are all my guests. Okay, and this is the room, right? Everyone else is in the room. So these are the three main things that you need to know when you are in an online learning class. You got the host, which is the trainer most of the time. You got the guest, which is you and the other learners. And you got the room where everyone is in. Okay? Now, how do you get on board online learning? So let's say you've signed up for a course and you've paid for the course using your skills, future credits, etc., and you're ready to start online learning. And the training vendor says, okay, stand by, I'm going to be giving you a Zoom link. And you're thinking, what is a Zoom link? What does a Zoom link look like? Okay, now a Zoom link is the link that you need to click on in order for you to access the class. And I'll be showing you what the link looks like, okay? So these are the 3 steps in order for you to get started on online learning, for you to enter the room, watch out for the link, click on the link, and then of course, I'm going to talk about the most common functions used as a learner. Now, this is what a Zoom link looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you guys might have seen this. If you haven't, most Zoom links look like this, okay? Now, you've got who is inviting you, you've got the date, you've got the time, and of course, most importantly, you've got the URL that starts like this, web.zoom.us. Now, about 95% of the time, all you have to do is just click on the link and your Zoom app on your desktop or on your laptop will appear automatically and you'll be automatically redirected to the classroom. And then you'll be prompted for a password. Can you spot what's the password in this particular Zoom class? Find the password. Okay, if you're seeing a number that starts with 7522, I'm not giving out 40 numbers, right? But that's the password. You're on the right step. It's all there. The password is set by the host. So if you're prompted for a password, key in the password. Okay? And the passwords are only valid for that meeting. You can't reuse the password. So it's a security feature. So watch out for this Zoom link, ladies and gentlemen, that you'll be receiving when you're embarking on any online learning class that uses Zoom as a platform. Now, sometimes this appears. And when this appears, I want you to know that you are on the right step. Don't go away, right? Basically, what it's trying to tell you is that the host, which is the trainer or the teacher, hasn't entered the room yet, or he's entered the room and he's not ready to take in students. Like a typical classroom. Sometimes the trainers are doing their own stuff and they only let in, the students when they're ready. So when you see this, hold and wait, okay? It's dependent on the host to let you in. And usually they'll let you in soon. Okay, so that's something that a lot of people also have been asking when it comes to online learning. When they see this screen, they think that something's wrong. Actually, it's not wrong. The host is just waiting for you, right? Waiting for himself or herself to let you enter class. Okay, now what are some of the common functions used as a learner? Now, not limited to this, okay? These are the 2 basic ones, and I'll be covering things like changing the view, audio and video, we've covered that, and chat. Now, most video conferencing platforms, Zoom also especially, you can speak to someone or you can chat with someone. Most of the time in an online learning class, the trainer, speaker, teacher will tell you, everyone mute yourself because they don't want to be, if there are 20 people talking in a class, it can be quite distracting. So you learn how to mute yourself, okay? It's quite simple. All you have to do is, click on that microphone button and there's a slash means you've muted yourself. Well done, fantastic, okay? Most of the time, they'll say, I want to see your faces. Because in an online learning class, it's good to see everyone's faces. So remember, make sure you click on that audio, video, and make sure it's not red slash. Make sure your picture comes up, okay? So typically in a class, we have that. Now, I want to talk about the other 2 things, the change view and the chat. Let's talk about the chat first. Chat is very simple. Now, that's what a chat box looks like on the screen, right? This is where the trainer interacts with all the participants, right? And they'll be sharing content. Sometimes the trainer will do this. Can anyone tell me what's the answer? Chat with me or talk to me. And some people, they prefer to chat. And, the trainer will be looking at chat and, interacting with people via chat and also from an audio format. Every class is different, but the chat functionality is quite interesting and quite useful as well. And it's commonly used. Some classes, though, have disabled chat. Not many of them, maybe for interactivity purposes, because it's a short class. Most classes would have chat functions. So if you see chat being disabled and you say, hey, where's my chat? It's not your fault. All these settings has been set by the host, aka the trainer or the organizer of the class. Okay, so that's what a chat function looks like. I want to talk about speaker view. Now, there are 2 views on Zoom. Now, this has been by far the most common question I've gotten when I'm conducting my Zoom class. How do I change my views? Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you click on that button right up there, it gives you the ability to see these 2 views, speaker view and gallery view. Speaker view is basically you are seeing the speaker speaking. Gallery view is everyone else. And typically in an online learning class, you want to do speaker view. you want to focus on the person speaking, be it the trainer, presenter, or speaker. And the gallery view gives you a mosaic view of everyone out there. So there are two views. Choose a view that you're comfortable with. Okay? Now, last one. This is the most essential one now that you are a Zoomer. You've got an account, right? You know how to join a meeting. Time for you to invite your kopi kakis for a chat. How do you schedule a meeting? Very simple steps. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 4 things. First of all, back to your home screen. You see the home screen again? All the magic happens there. Click on schedule and this screen appears. Details of your meeting. Okay, you can write the topic title as Lim Kopi session, or you can online gossiping session, or let's learn how to do calligraphy session. It could be all this kind of stuff. Set the date, set the time, set the password. Password is a security feature. It's up to you to set whatever password you want. It can be alphanumeric, it could be a title, it could be a sentence. And last but not least, click on schedule, right, for you to confirm that meeting. And this appears. Look at that. You see your home screen. Something is different. If you look at your date and your time, right at the bottom there, you can see that your scheduled Zoom calls appear. So I've got a Zoom call. Okay, I've scheduled it because I'm the host. Now I want to invite people. Click on the 3 dots. You can see those tiny 3 dots. That menu will appear and copy invitation. And once you copy invitation, you can paste the invitation link via whatever device or communication platform you want to share the link. Email, WhatsApp, whichever suits your needs. And look at the invitation link. It's exactly the same invitation format that you would have received if you are receiving an invite from someone else. The only difference now is that you are sending the invite out. Send the details to whoever you want to start the meeting, and you're ready to start your own Zoom call. All right, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I hope this short session has given you some insights on how to use Zoom. Let's take some questions now. Love to hear some of your questions that you have for me on Zoom, about Zoom. Let me know. All right, question is, okay, is it safe to use Zoom on laptop for MacBook? Okay, there is no Zoom app in the MacBook Apple Store, but in iPhone, there's a Zoom app also. We need to open security setting when install Zoom in MacBook. There's more than one question, but I love this question. I am using a MacBook, by the way. I'm using a MacBook and I'm using an iPad simultaneously to screen this call. So first of all, on MacBook, you've got additional security settings. You need to accept the security settings. Okay, so there's a bit of prompting that appears. Follow the instructions on the screen. It took me about a few minutes to disable and enable some security settings for Zoom to appear. Now, it might not appear on the Play Store, on the App Store on Apple, right? Download the Zoom app for your MacBook on Zoom's browser page. Okay, so Zoom download, support/download, there is a MacBook version, download that. Now, of course, there's an app version for phones and for iPad also as well. You can download those also as well. Okay, right, so it's completely safe for you to be using Zoom on MacBook. All right, so next question, how do you send messages to chat groups during Zoom meetings? Okay, simple. Okay, every message that you send via the chat box is viewable by everyone. Okay, so when you chat something, when you say something out, it's viewable for everyone. Essentially, you're sending out to the entire group. But there's also a functionality where you can PM, private message someone. You click on the person's name will come out and you can chat with the person privately. Now, a bit of caveat here, ladies and gentlemen, all Zoom chats can be recorded. Okay, so all Zoom chats are recorded. And that means we have a chat log, of all your Zoom chats. The host will be able to get a version of that chat log, but they won't be able to get a version of your private chats, right? So if you want to gossip, you see this trainer talk so fast, right? If it's privately, it's fine. Okay, yes, so I answered question 2 and 3, I think. Okay, now, how I get this all the time. How do you select virtual background for handphone? A bit of settings that you need to toggle with, okay? I won't be able to cover that in this class. Okay, I've got some guides for you that I'm going to be showing you at the next screen where you can connect with me and I can give you more guides on Zoom. But just to answer your question, you need to go into preferences and there's some settings there where you can click on virtual background. I unfortunately I wouldn't be able to cover this because we've only got a limited amount of time. But connect with me, all right? And I would love to share some of these resources with you. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, what are the pros and cons of Zoom compared to other apps? Why is it so popular now? Okay, so fantastic question. Okay, now this is from a personal perspective, right? I don't sell Zoom, if I told you all, right? But why is it more popular nowadays? Okay, now so the main ones are, let me just run through with you. Microsoft Teams is by Microsoft, Google Hangouts by Google, and then we got Zoom by Zoom. These three are some of the most common ones that people have been using. Zoom is because Zoom is intuitive. I find that the user interface on Zoom is easy to use, easy to understand also as well. And off the cuff, right? Zoom, when they started, they got some functionalities which made video conferencing really cool, like virtual backgrounds. And people started saying, hey, virtual backgrounds. So people started using Zoom, and it's all about a critical mass. And after a lot of people started using Zoom, it became more of a norm rather than all the other platforms. Every platform has its advantages as well. I do another webinar where I go in depth into this as well. I've got video conferencing tools and documents on my site that will help you out in this. So I hope that will come in handy. Okay. Zoom etiquette. Yes, lots of Zoom etiquette. All right. Again, won't be able to cover this in totality, but let me just tell you three main Zoom etiquette. Number one, when you are speaking, make sure you have your video on. People want to see who they are speaking to. Number two, when you are not speaking, go on mute, because they can pick up all kind of background sounds, even if you're eating. I've got a Zoom participant once he was eating his nasi lemak, and I could hear the crunch of the ikan bilis as I was speaking and talking. And I got to ask him, hello, Mr. Xiao, can we switch off? So Zoom etiquette, when you're not speaking, put on mute. And number three, etiquette in any classroom, be it online or offline. Remember, right? Zoom room is not a reason for us to be nasty or hide behind a screen. Be nice and friendly to everyone, especially if you're using Zoom to learn. Make sure that conversations are civil. So I've had chats where it could be quite, heated up. So make sure that that doesn't mean that it's online, it's not real. It is equally as real. So these three things, okay? Zoom etiquette and much more. I cover Zoom etiquette when it comes to online meetings as well. And I cover that a bit more in my other webinars. Okay, fantastic. Okay, now, question, must you be on the Zoom page first before you can receive an invite? Now, the answer is, okay, it's yes and no, but I would say for starters, if you are starting out on Zoom, you must always be on the Zoom front page. Okay. Now, even if you're advanced, most of the time it's more intuitive for us to be on the front page, for us to be on a Zoom call. But check this out. If a link has been given to you, that link, when you click, automatically brings you to a room. It doesn't bring you to a front page. So you know what? A front page is only necessary when you want to key in the details manually. And it can be a bit of a hassle, but easily discovered also as well. So when you are given a link, usually it jumps straight away, right, to your room instead of the home page. Okay? All right, let's go talk about, okay, next one. I love the questions coming in, everyone. I love them, right? When I set up a meeting, how do you set up a background? Virtual backgrounds again. Virtual backgrounds are really popular. See, we've got 2 questions on virtual backgrounds, and that's the reason why Zoom is quite popular as well. Again, we won't be able to cover this in this particular webinar, ladies and gentlemen. A bit of fiddling around. I've got resources to help you out. Check those resources out, okay? Can help you out in your virtual background needs. After cutoff, can I restart? Okay, now, good question. This is a good question. I want to answer this question. Now, if you are the host of the meeting, and let's say for some internet connectivity problems, you get cut off, yeah? Now, when you restart back again, what happens is the host function will be given to someone else in the room, yeah? And then you can come back into the room and you can ask the person to transfer the hosting back to you, okay? Now, there are certain settings as well. If you get cut off after 40 minutes, you won't be able to go back into the room. If you get cut off after your free 40 minutes, that meeting has ended and you need to start a new one. Okay? Right? Okay. How do I share a YouTube video on my background? So I think you mean what, a YouTube video as a background? That's quite cool. I don't think you can do that. But if your question is, how can I share a YouTube video with others to see? There is this functionality, free or paid, it's all there. It's called share content. Again, it's a slightly more advanced functionality, right? Not very hard to figure out because it's right there called share content, right? Won't be able to cover it and show you a demo now, but I have some resources for you in the next page where you can go to in order for you to check out some of these things, okay? Right. All right, how about the background view? How to set it? Are you talking about background, virtual background? Yeah, sorry, yeah, I told you, right? A bit of settings that you need to tweak, preferences and all, right? A bit of, not so hard to do, but I won't be able to cover in today's Q&A. How does your image appear when two or more is speaking at the same time? I love this question, right? Very good. Now, I want to cover this question. Now, Zoom automatically detects the person who is speaking. Okay. So if they detect voice coming out from a particular video, the video will be spotlighted to the person speaking. Remember that. Okay. So if there are two or more people speaking, likely what's going to happen is, unless they're speaking simultaneously, one person talks, the video will be on the person talking. The guy stops talking, the other person starts talking, the video will be shifted to the other person. See, that's only if you have speaker view, because the speaker view spotlights and highlights the person speaking. Okay. All right. Okay. Question number 13. Okay. Let's see that. Zoom has the issue of pausing intermittently. Okay. Likely internet bandwidth connections. I had that many times before. I've actually done a webinar before where all of a sudden my Zoom froze up on me. It was really quite scary. And I realized after troubleshooting that it's my internet bandwidth. Now, a couple of things, right? Sometimes your internet bandwidth is, you got many apps which is using your bandwidth. Also at the same time, you want to make sure that if you're using Zoom, close all the other apps and make sure only one app, which is Zoom, is working. I try to reduce my multitasking. And also, if it happens more often than not, it's likely your internet connection. Okay? All right, number 14. Can I answer an incoming call when I'm in Zoom meeting? Will the guest be able to? Yes. Right, like now, okay, for example, someone's calling me, said, hi, yeah, this Zoom webinar, not bad, quite nice, quite good, everyone, So what you want to do is you want to mute yourself. So there's that, you see, right? So Zoom etiquette, mute yourself if you are doing something else besides participating in a Zoom call. All right? Okay, let's go. Okay, now, wow. 15. What about Skype, Cisco, WebEx? Okay. Yeah, I mean, as a trainer, right, I've used all these tools. I actually use WebEx for some of the training that I do with SG Clean, right? Some of you guys might be interested to be SG Clean ambassadors, or some of you guys are, you might have seen my face. We do our training via Cisco WebEx. So these are popular as well, right? From a user point of view, it's all about just clicking the button so that it appears up, right? So usually training providers or training organizers will always want to use the an app or a service which the learners are comfortable with. So Skype is not as popular as it was before. Let me tell you why. Skype bought over by Microsoft, right? Microsoft has got a video conferencing tool called Teams. So Skype is seen as more personal usage, and Teams is seen as more video conferencing learning business usage, okay? So WebEx Cisco is also popular, but I must say from a personal standpoint, not as intuitive as Zoom, okay? All right, let's go. Number 16. When the 40 minutes is up, can we start? Yes, you can, but not using the same meeting ID and password. It has to change. So some people have told me, Firdaus, you know what? I found a way to increase my Zoom meetings without paying a cent. So tell me how. After 35 minutes, I close this meeting. I set up a new meeting. Then I send my participants a new meeting ID and password. Well, if that works for you, that works for you. So, but you can't reuse the same meeting ID and password. You got to schedule a new one. Okay. How do you put your name on video? All right. Okay. Now, this is not so advanced. Okay. But we didn't want to cover this. Okay, because it would be right up there with share content. Intermediate functions. So basically, there are settings right now. If you go on your screen, on Zoom screen, there are always 3 dots that you can see, right? Those 3 dots would give you the ability to access things like mute, rename function. So look out for those 3 dots on your screen, okay? All right, so it's on your tab. I've got guides on this also as well coming up, okay, that y'all can download and access. Okay, so WhatsApp, okay, number 19. What is the difference between WhatsApp video and Zoom? Okay, now, WhatsApp video has got some functionality limitations. Number 1, WhatsApp video can only, I think, allow 8-9 callers coming in, right, with video. Also very dependent on internet bandwidth also as well. Now, a WhatsApp video is never meant to be used as a training, learning, online meeting, video conferencing tool. It's just a video call, like FaceTime on Apple also as well. It's got no functionalities like, okay, I can share content, I can't chat simultaneously as speaking, right? I do have WhatsApp video on my mobile, on my iPad, or even on my desktop or my laptop. So WhatsApp video calls are basically video calls, not video conferencing tools, okay? All right, now, if I'm in the room, there is incoming call. Can I just pick the phone and leave the Zoom? No, don't leave the Zoom. Once you leave the Zoom, you have to come back into the Zoom. Think of a room as a physical room. Once you leave the room, you got to come back into the room. And what if the room is locked? You got to ask someone for permission. Okay, so remember that, okay? The host must let you in the room because of security function, right? The host, okay, you can come back. So don't ever leave Zoom. Zoom etiquette is like this. If you have to leave for a call, maybe you want to chat the host and say, I'll be back, have to attend a call. Mute yourself so people don't hear all your background noise. You might even want to stop your video for a period of time and answer that personal call. And once you're back, unmute yourself, start your video, and carry on doing what you are doing. Okay? 21. Okay. How many sessions? As many as you want. Yeah, as many as you want. Yeah, so you can have many 40-minute sessions. Okay? 22, as a guest, yes, you can. As a guest, you can share content also as well, okay? This is dependent on the host. The host will give you access for you to share content. So remember, the host has got all the functionalities. Some hosts will disable content sharing. Some hosts will enable content sharing. It depends on the preferences of the host. But yes, as a guest on a free account, you can share content. Okay? All right, with that, that is the last question for the day. As a guest, can I share content? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fantastic having you guys here, right? Okay. So just want to let you all know that this, this NSA nuggets has been a fantastic piece of resource for everyone. I've been logging in and seeing the rest of the other speakers as well. Also as well, you would see my email, right? And my blog name or my website, firdaus.salim.com/blog. I've already gotten ready some resources for you to download, right? Because I'm here, I'm expecting some of these more advanced inquiries. I've got that also as well. Connect with me via email, ladies and gentlemen. If you got any Zoom questions, I would love to answer any of them. Thank you.